Well, there's something I'm not doing. The Jeep's coming along pretty good. I've got a whole bunch of trimming done we're going to talk about today. And one of the things that's been important to me is the interior. This is a pretty simple pan interior that actually comes with it, but the whole cage thing, like, I'm not doing the cage thing, okay? So all of that right there, no. I don't see the need for it. I mean, the truck has all this body support. It's really well done. I just don't see the need to actually put the cage on the interior. I don't think it adds much to the look of the truck. I don't want it for the top being cut off or any of that stuff. Like, I'm not doing that. So let's talk a little bit about the basics here. So simple Lexan. I don't want the shiny side up. I want the shiny side on the bottom. So I actually spray painted the flat black on the top of the interior, the part that you see. So that should deaden off a lot of the reflections inside. I did a pretty cool job on the driver. I'll show you that in some detail in a minute. But one of the things we're going to do today is get the dash stickers on, just to kind of brighten up the interior a little bit. We'll probably add a couple of details in the back, simple stuff. And then I'm going to go over all the trimming I had to do for those giant J Concept tires. We'll talk about that and the links for those, and here we go on the technical stuff. Coffee first, and we'll get into the stickers. All I'm going to think I do, maybe I'll put the GPS on there because it's big. So there's a lot of cool stickers in here that I'm not going to use. I just don't really want to do the seats. I don't really want to do the seat backs and stuff. The console is a little too kind of flat and gaudy for me. I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm going to do the dash, the main instruments, probably the wheel, and then I'll do the actual GPS, and probably that's it on the interior. There aren't too many on this exterior kit that I want to use as well. I'm not doing the windows or any of that stuff. Maybe I'll put some of the actual hinges on, but probably not. I don't know, I just think that they take away from the look of the body. Definitely not doing this or any of this. So there's probably a couple of little trim pieces I'll do, some little Jeep decals that I'll put on. But you know, these are actually cut out pretty big. One of the things they did really nicely on this interior kit is that the cut line is actually right beside the decal. It's not this big black part here, okay, for instance. So when I take this out, I'm gonna have most of this sticker is gonna be perfectly cut. Watch this. See, that black trim is still there. So now all I've got is this delicious, well trimmed decal that I can put on here. And I like to use this X-Acto knife kind of thing for this because it's really thin. You got easy control when you're trying to put it in the right spot. You just slide that right in there. And that's it. Hold one side. That'll look good through the window. And then I'm going to put the GPS on there. Same story. I'm just going to get underneath the corner of it here, and then you squish it onto your blade. Just kind of push it onto your blade as if it was a sticker onto your blade, like that. And then when you go to put it in, you got really nice control over it, like that. There you go. That might be it. That might be it. You can see all that from inside the windows. Maybe I'll put the steering wheel one on. And and I think that'll be the end. Definitely the steering wheel, yeah. This is a really nice decal, man. They did a really nice print job on these. They look good. So you line it up with your knife. There's the Jeep decal right there. You line it up with your knife. Just kind of hold it in the right spot, and then if you touch it with your finger onto the actual steering wheel, done. Now look, that's pretty freaking cool right there. That's a simple interior. I can't tell you how glad I am that they actually gave you an interior for the truck, because so many just don't have that. Here's a trail rated decal that I got from True North RC. They actually make them out of plastic. They're raised plastic decals. They're just so cool. So I'm going to put that on, and let's see what's next. Let's move on to the body now. That's a pretty good decal. I mean, you can actually see me in the decal. That's crazy. This is a mirror that goes right here. The actual plastics doesn't have a piece of chrome in there, so you put it on as a sticker, which gives it some good reflection value. One more on this side, and then we'll talk about the trimming. So these tires are J Concepts. The rims and the tires is a combo. I think they were designed for the SMT monster truck style, 12mm hex. Typical stuff. Fits on here with the GCM new hex that we made for the SCX3. The hex brings the wheel out far enough that you can actually mount this tire on without having to do massive changes to the suspension and the portals and all that. And it still works with the same lock nut, so very handy. The GCM hex is at the store. Take a look at gcmracing.ca for those. Now, those are done. The fact that the tire is so big, garbage, means that in order to get it to steer, I had to trim out all of this right here. So this nice slider that they give you actually came way out here nice and square. The same at the back. It was a nice square at the back. That's all been trimmed off, and the fender has been trimmed way back, so you can imagine this fender would have come down in its typical fashion to basically way out here. That whole corner got taken off. You can see it's been triangulated right off there, completely taken off. And what that allows me to do is actually turn, which is nice, because I can still get the truck to travel properly like this. Obviously the suspension, its compression is going to hit that, but the tire's pulling this way, so it might make some funny body noises, but in its main position, suspension position, it looks good and it works good. And I actually still have pretty good clearance when it's at its sort of up and down travel without much steering. The front was the same. So in the front, I had to trim the bumper off quite a bit right here. I mean quite a bit, okay? Like a lot, because what is happening is when you're turning like this, the tire is pulling down, and that means you can't have anything here because the tread will grab it on the way down and literally just jack the suspension back up. If the tire grabs it here, it's going to pull the tire up as it rotates because it's pulling down on the tread. So that had to be clearanced completely. No rubbing can be done at the front or it will jack the suspension up. So obviously in the front, this looks totally amazing. Axial did a really nice job with the grill slots already pre-cut. We masked all that off and painted it black on the inside, so it's really nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the headlight cover stickers on here because they're kind of hard to line. I might try it, and if I don't like them, I'll just take them back off, because I do want to light this up with some warm whites to kind of, maybe some blue LEDs. I don't know. Let's take a look at that later. For now, I think what I'm going to have to do is actually cut out some of these stickers. These stickers have a huge ring around them, a cut ring. Let me show you what I mean. So this sticker has a lot of spare plastic around it. I'm not a fan. I would love to see the lettering actually cut really close before they get installed on the truck, because if it's not, then you can see that plastic line. It kind of looks dumb to me. So I think we're going to recut these out and then put some of these decals on. These I'm definitely going to put on, the corner lights. And yeah, so aside from all that trimming, this thing in the front is all set up. In the back, more trimming, because I had suspension compression problems here. It was rubbing real bad on the back of the fender here. So this extension used to come down and be squared off, which is great for a 475 tire, but these are huge. And I think they're 5 1/4, 557. They're really big. So I had to trim that off in order to get my suspension back. Pulled the bumper all the way in. There we go, now we're back in position. So you can see there that I really did need to clean that off. The front is fine, trimmed off, it's good. In the back, lots of trimming both sides. I like the rear tail lights this way, without having the extra stickers on it. It came with some. I don't think they're on this sheet here. Must be on a different sheet, but there was a sticker that was supposed to go over top of this and kind of trim off the light. I like them bare like that, they look good. No window trim here. Obviously we did the tint on there when we sprayed the Lexan, so it's good. And I'm just going to leave it like that, no cage. You know, it's going to get driven. So let's go ahead and get some of these other decals on here. So this guy, I didn't put any stickers on him at all. I want to tell you what I did with his head there. So his hat, basically, all I did with that single piece of plastic was I sprayed the hat with kind of like an olive green color, but I didn't completely cover the white, so it's more like a speckled. It's really kind of cool actually. And then his whole face, his whole head, the rest of his whole head is the two pieces of plastic. And I sprayed those with a flat tan color. That was it. It's got a flat tan face, which kind of mimics a skin color. It certainly does when you look at it in contrast through the window. So when you're checking him out in the window, you're like, oh, there's the dude right there. It's pretty easy. And then for his eyes, on his eyes, all I did was touch his eyes in the center with a black pointed Sharpie, a really fine-ended, extra fine Sharpie. And then I took an X-Acto blade and I scratched off the face paint that was around his eyes, on the sides of his pupils, okay? So the whites of his eyes is actually just the white plastic that was underneath, because this whole thing was white plastic, this whole head part. So I scratched off the paint around the eyes, and that gave me his eye definition. Two little tiny black dots of Sharpie that are in his nose to give that definition. Two little tiny lines on his ear sides gives that definition. And that's it. Simple guy. And we're going to install this. This installs in the truck with these two screws here that go underneath the cowling where the wipers are. And then there's two screws at the back that actually attach into the rear body mount. So we're going to put that in now. And of course I want to give you one technical update on this. aside from trimming the sliders here, which you've already talked about, you can see that works pretty good now. The front bumper's clear. Back bumper, I trimmed off the little tab that was here, so that's clear. I'm using of course, I'm using a Helios RC 1500 milliamp 3-cell. That's all I ever use, or the 2000 that they have, which is an amazing battery. On the small mount, I just put it in there, done. And I did not install the dig. The dig is locked out in the build, so as I put the truck together, I locked the dig out, so there's no dig. All full-time 4-wheel drive. And the 2-speed has been disabled effectively by the elastic. So if I decide to put a servo in here to use the actual 2-speed, I can, because it's all built inside for the 2-speed setup. But I'm locking it out into first by using an elastic band. Very simple, costs nothing, no technical stuff has to be done. You just literally lock it out with it, just hold it in first, that's it. And it won't pop out because the gears are well made. It's a really nicely built truck. All the electronics, as you know from the other videos, are in the engine cover. So my motor is here, which is an associated 5-slot. You can barely see it. The servo, of course, is here with the extra valve cover that I got from rcaddict.us. That's a 3D printed part that just bolts right on. And then I trimmed out a little bit of the fan and pulley setup here, the accessory setup for the engine. I trimmed that out and I put my Hobbywing 1080 ESC inside the engine. So it's under the cover, there's nothing else out here. The wiring is totally simple. That's it. Very, very easy to work on. Hobby Porter 7-channel receiver. I can use that for my lights and all the other stuff I'm going to do with Hey-OK controllers for the lights. Basically, I'm ready to plug in and go at any time. So this is ready. Very excited about that. We're almost done with that, and let me get the interior put in and I'll show you what that looks like. Perfect. Well, this went really well. Just take off the 2 screws that were there on the back body mount tops, and then the 2 up here that were in the cowling under the wipers. There you go, boom, just like that. I'll straighten out my wipers again. I'm really glad they added these details. They look fantastic, by the way. And so there's my interior. Pretty simple, eh? Love this. No cage. Dude's just sitting there. It's perfect. Real simple. The guy looks great in there. I mean, that is awesome. No crazy stuff in the back to fall out. A little bit of gauges inside. Gives it some definition. Nice steering wheel. Can't see in the back because we tinted the windows, so don't need to do anything in the back. Look how great that is. Wow. So, aside from putting the lights in that, we're pretty much ready to go with this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the mounts yet. I did have a thought about putting some magnetic mounts on it, because the body goes on so easily. That was it. It's just too easy. So I thought, well, hey, why not, you know, switch out the 4 body clips for magnets, and then the body will just click right on. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not, but it's certainly on my mind, and you all know how often we use magnets in our builds. So let me get this put on the right side here. there is a really nice little catch for the Lexan right here in the slider, and it gives it that sort of extra support material here. You just have to line up the body into that channel. So there I go. I think I'm basically done with that on the outside. I do think I'm going to put some blue lights in it, and I'll dim off some reds in the back so it has just a little bit of glow, but nothing really strong. Really great to have these True North RC badges here. They're so amazing. Interior is good. I think besides the lights, we're good to go. So hopefully, if you guys want to try this out, I'll leave links in the description comments for the tires. This is J Concepts. They're just so incredibly awesome. This is the J Concepts Ranger. The part number is 3179. It's they have a rim for it as well, and if you put the GCM wheel hex on it, the SCX3 wheel hex, good to go. So that's the update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.